Okay, here's a simple lesson on evolution. The theory of evolution basically teaches that every living creature, like you and me, evolved from a single cell billions of years ago. So that means that every animal supposedly transformed into another kind of animal over time. Now, the big problem evolutionists have is that they're finding a huge gap in the fossil record. In other words, when archaeologists dig up the bones of these dead animals, they don't find these transitional forms that helped one animal transform into another animal. And if you don't have those bones, you can't prove evolution ever happened. That's what they're calling the missing link. And there's not just one. There would have to be thousands and thousands of those transitional forms. The truth is, they're not missing at all. They never existed in the first place.
Now the problem with this statement is that it's just wrong. There are thousands of transitional forms. In fact, I did a video, I've done a series of videos on transitional forms. Check them out, they're in my channel on the playlist. We've got them basically from just about any transition. And they're well documented and they fully fulfill the predictions of evolution. Thus, not only the transitional forms themselves are supporting evolution, but it also provides a nice way for evolution to be tested. Again, take a look at my whale transitional fossils or anything like that. The fossil record completely supports evolution. So his comment is completely false. And ignorance of them does not mean that they don't exist.
And if you don't have those bones, you can't prove evolution ever happened.
Well, by that logic, if we do have the bones, then I guess that means that we can prove that evolution has happened. Thanks, Kirk.
Now, maybe you're asking, what about the proof? I mean, what about those science teachers that showed us those drawings of apes all hunched over and then eventually straightening themselves up and becoming very man-like? Well, remember, those are just drawings. That's not proof. The real proof is in what we can find in the fossil record, the bones that we dig up, and that's what's missing, the actual proof. In reality, this is what scientists actually have. Me and the monkey. Apes and humans. The supposed transitional forms are what are known as the missing links. But the truth is, there is no missing link. There's nothing to link apes to human. The supposed transitional forms simply don't exist. Except in the imagination of evolutionists who want to justify their theory. For instance, the amazing discovery of Lucy. But now, nearly all experts agree that Lucy was just the skeleton of a 3-foot-tall chimpanzee.
Actually, no, Lucy isn't a chimpanzee, and experts don't think that. There are many features of Lucy which are completely transitional. For example, she has a valgus knee, which meant that she moved upright. Second of all, if you take a look at the ratio of the length of her humerus to the femur, it's 84.6 compared to 71.8 for modern humans and 97.8 for common chimpanzees. This basically means that either the arms are beginning to shorten or the legs are beginning to lengthen. Either that or they were occurring simultaneously, but regardless, it's completely in between the two. Also, you can take a look at her pelvic girdle and that her pubic arch was 90 degrees, which is similar to modern human females and completely unlike chimpanzees. And these are just a few of the dozens of diagnostic characteristics which put Lucy, or Australopithecus afarensis, in between humans and chimpanzees. Experts don't conclude that she was a chimpanzee. Kirk Cameron is simply lying.
Or Nebraska Man. They created an entire skeleton with arms, legs, feet, hands, even facial features, when all they really had was one tooth, which later was found to be the tooth of an extinct pig.
Nebraska Man was never widely considered to be a transitional form. This is actually a perfect example of the scientific method working through continued scrutiny and criticism, in that it was found out to be the tooth of an extinct pig, and science corrected it and moved on.
Or Piltdown Man. The jawbone turned out to belong to a modern ape.
Yes, there was a fraud 100 years ago. I bet that means that everything found since is false.
And of course, Neanderthal Man, whose famous skeleton found in France over 50 years ago was that of an old man who suffered from arthritis. Hardly scientific proof.
That's funny. Since when does arthritis cause an increase in bone density and your brow bone to become enormous? No one believes that it was an old man who had arthritis except for creationists who are deluded and won't take a look at the facts. This was clearly not a human being. Furthermore, there are several Neanderthal specimens, which Cameron completely ignores, and he also completely ignores the fact that we have sequenced their mitochondrial DNA and nuclear DNA as of this point, and it is confirmed that they were definitively not human. Once again, Cameron is too ignorant of the facts to be making a video about it, or he's simply lying. In addition to Kirk Cameron completely lying about 2 of the fossils, he also ignored a good dozen or so. We are more than just 4 transitional fossils between apes and humans. However, there are quite a few transitional fossils that Kirk Cameron completely left out, such as Ardipithecus ramidus, Australopithecus anamensis, Australopithecus afarensis, Australopithecus africanus, Australopithecus gari, Australopithecus ethiopicus, Australopithecus robustus, Australopithecus boisei, Homo habilis, Homo gregoricus, Homo erectus, Homo ergaster, Homo ancestor, Homo heidelbergensis, Homo neanderthalis, Homo florenziensis, and Homo sapiens.